looks like we're live. Alright. So, I'm still in the SK and Necro guild area, or class area, and working on the library today. So that's 3. Let's see if... Let's get the round level, I guess, kind of figured out. So I've kind of played around with this already a little bit earlier. So how I'm seeing this is walk up, shells on both sides. I'm thinking a walkway maybe. Kind of going around here. Same over on this side. Potentially maybe a room. I do have this kind of room over here. A smaller room. I figured we could put a, you know, like important librarian style character in here. Like the head librarian. But let's start adding some more stuff. So... turn the music down just a pinch on my end. So let's do 2. Hey, how's it going? Good evening to you as well. Let's see. Yeah, I think that works. And then maybe some pillars hanging down off of this. I'm gonna do something similar to just these kind of rounded ones. And we will extrude these. Let's do 1.25 to start. Yeah, that's better. And then second. Actually, no. Let's try back on. Oops. Helps if we go the other way. And these faces. I don't know if I like the scale on these. Let's try this. Oops, this wasn't even on the ground. Hold on. Hey guys, how are you guys? How's everybody doing tonight? Vagrant and Nordan. Let's see. Select holes, there we go. Oops. That's what I get for jumping between programs. I'm sitting here using Unreal duplication controls, which do not work in Unity. What is up with chat spamming welcome to chat every 2 seconds? Have the same problem between Blender and Unity? Yeah. I have the same problem with Unreal or Unity and Maya, or Unreal and Maya. Drives me crazy sometimes. You know what? Maybe I don't want these. Let's delete these. I'll leave one. Let's see if I can just use shells. Welcome to chat, Seek Hearts. Glad you're excited. Let's see. So yeah, that's what I thought. These ones are gonna be too long. So let's see how. So let's see that. Slide these over. So this is 5, so that should be in the center. Tuck this under here, but I probably will not use it in the end. And I don't have a version of this one, so let's do this real quick. Duplicate that. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna delete these other ones. Because this one's actually grounded now. Oh, hold on a second. Let's redo that again. Helps if you double check your dimensions before you start duplicating everything. Totally hitting the wrong keys. Okay, that's much better. Let's see. Weird. My bitrate rate looks fine. I'm seeing comments in Streamlabs, but I'm not seeing it in Twitch. Hold on. Let me reload my Twitch. Okay, now I'm seeing it. Apparently something's funky with the stream tonight because it keeps spamming you guys with the welcome. So something's up. Looks good. Just missing some kind of chandelier centerpiece up top, with candles and natural moonlight seeping in. Yeah, and it definitely is going to need something. I think it's going to have like a railing along the sides, obviously around here. I'm thinking some tables. I have some tables in, but they might not be the ones that end up being here. But yeah, some like tables in the center. Maybe some thin, long tables kind of along the railing. I don't know. And then make this look kind of like a scholar's office type of a situation. Yes, this is a library in the Necromancer and Shadow Knight's guildhall, or class like headquarters, without giving away too much of the lore. Hi, Commander Lunacia. Welcome to the chat. Don't know. And this one isn't as bad, but we'll fix that too. This is from Discord. How's it going? Alright, let's play with... Oops. That. And we'll combine these, and we'll just do some branches. Like so. How are you guys all doing tonight? Have a good weekend? Just keep some of these together. What is the command to connect verticals like that? So if you select on the two edges and then hit Alt and B, it's the same as if you were to using the bridge edge right here. I don't think... Can you do it with vertices? No, I don't think you can. I guess you might be able to... connect vertices would be Control E, which will draw a line. So if I like grab these two, it'll draw a line between the two of them. But yeah, it actually it's really helpful to kind of redirect edges and stuff like that. Because unfortunately, Pro Builder doesn't let you erase edge loops, so sometimes bridging, I've noticed, is just way faster. Cool. So that works. It's probably not going to work as well. Pro Builder whiz. I feel like I know enough now to be dangerous with it. Took a little bit, although at the same time it's still pretty easy to pick up, thankfully. But it definitely has its quirks as well. Can I stick to it? No, I don't have enough length here. Ooh, what do I want to do? Let's try just 2 of the 4-sided ones. Yeah, I was building things by hand. That took a bit longer. Oh yeah, that definitely can take a bit longer if you're trying to like extrude everything or like merge vertices. That can definitely take some time. Not that I won't actually do that, it just depends on what I'm doing. It'll be surreal to visit this in game, but knowing full well what it looks like with no textures. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of that, you know, knowing how the sausage was made. Part of the development. I know for me, like, when I was first really, like, learning all this stuff, I was playing a lot of Call of Duty 4 when I first started, really getting into, like, texturing. So I was, constantly getting shot in the back of the head as I'd, like, run by, like, ooh, how did they do that texture? And it kind of eventually over time you loses a little bit of magic once you kind of learn how everything's done, but you appreciate the magic in a different way. Faces, actually I should probably delete that face too, and that face. Did you learn on your own, take courses, or go to school? I went to school, but I was learning. I learned initially in the Torque game engine, which is not a great game engine. I would not recommend learning on it. And then learned on, and kind of self-taught myself Unreal. So I started with Unreal 2 or 2.5 maybe, and then really got into it with Unreal 3. Prior to like when where they re-released it as UDK, I was initially just modding like Gears of War and Unreal Tournament 3. But a lot of it, oh, excuse me, I ended up learning like on my own in the end. So a little bit of both. Like all the programming stuff that I've learned, I learned like ActionScript when I was in college, but that doesn't really do you much good these days, considering Flash is kind of dead beyond just being used as an animation tool. Oops, hold on a second. see if this will work. Is this... You gonna be nice, Grumbler? Nope. Nope, you're not. Alright, so let's do it this way. Let's see. Oh, and Lady Anarchist, welcome to the chat. For some reason, my one menu is not showing me first-time chatters tonight. I don't know what is going on with my stream. But anyways, welcome to the chat. I'm sure you can't unsee things in levels you've made that people are playing and haven't noticed. Like clipping plant or something. Oh yeah, no, that's one of the hardest things. To not notice little mistakes that are there after the fact. It's one of the things that, like, I remember teachers trying to teach me, or teach us in general, when I was in college, like, don't point out the flaws, because half the time people don't even notice them. But one of the nice things about the style we're going for is we kind of want to emulate some of that. Some of the flaws that are built into, like, the classic EverQuest. That's, like, part of the aesthetic we're going for. So it's almost like attempting to to show some of the flaws to get that that effect. So it's a slightly different approach than normal. I can relate, but when I make areas, I try my best to fix any little issue I find. It's best not to leave something wrong. Yeah, no, normally that is exactly how I am. Like this right now with all of these UVs over here broken up. Granted, that's not how it's gonna look, but it, like, drives me crazy and I want to fix it. And I'm like, no, just focus on, like, the part, like, the main things that we want to attack, because that stuff can get fixed later. Maybe I do want this. See how that feels. I mean, stuff like this that I'm adjusting really isn't needed, but it's kind of like, I don't know, like one of those things that's like, I need to fix it. Arcanist. Did I say anarchy? I totally probably misread that. That's the strategic boulder is so far. I assume the library, or I'm assuming this library will be a D&D monster manuals. Yeah, each one's just a different edition. That's exactly why I couldn't do what you do. I never let it be done. Yeah, it's one of those things that, for me, I had to learn over time to do, because I could sit there and I could spend a ton of time just making bookshelves. But there's a lot of Night Harbor to build still. So, and I'm sure you guys would like to play the game, so you know, it's one of those things that eventually you get used to, kind of not worrying about every single little detail. Tables. Again, these might not be the tables I end up using here, but let's go with this one. feel like it'll need larger tables eventually. With some like candles and scrolls and stuff on them. Could even be something like that. Oh, and Chess Solo, welcome to the chat. I need to start like reading out of this one because this one's giving me the actual notifications. I do graphic design. Yeah, it's sometimes, or it's the same in my field. With that, yeah. Oh, let me turn on my fan. It's getting stuffy in here with the door closed and the computer running. All right. I'm not sure how I feel about these being right up against this edge. I'm going to make some real quick like banisters. And we'll make a real quick railing after that. Oops. Centered. Might be too chunky. Okay, so I'm going to set these two. No ray trace. These thinner pieces. Goblin showed me this. You set them in no ray trace. They don't affect the camera. So trying to remember to do that. That way, if you're running up the stairs and your camera goes like this, it's not going to like do a weird jump on you. Let's see. So what drives the gray box stage? Do you guys use design guide or do you guys go by feel? So it's been a little bit of a mixed bag in that terms. Some areas we've had kind of like write-ups with lore. This actually is one of the areas that I'm going off of some lore, so I know, without going too deep into it, I know that there need to be like a barracks area. So this will eventually have like beds and stuff, and I might expand it out. I've got some room to. It needs a morgue area, which I started and need to kind of finish. But so essentially kind of walk down here and then do some bodies down there. I want to kind of carry some of these arches over here, maybe have some rooms off of it. And then there's little like troughs for the blood to kind of go and get collected. So kind of knew that. I knew that there was a library. So this is the library area, and then the last area that I'm probably gonna put somewhere like this area is an Alchemy Lab. But we don't have any of the. We don't even have rough crafting stations for the alchemy stuff yet. I'd started working on several of the craftings, like rough things for the crafting stations, but other things became priority before I got to alchemy. But yeah, so sometimes it is driven by, we have, you know, specific lore, like this has this space and this space. Some of it's just kind of by feel. So overall, you know, the main layout of this canyon, we talked about we wanted to kind of do a more Petra style area. So I've been kind of starting to play around with it and putting in some of these larger rock kind of pillars. And then, you know, you've got like the larger one. And then I threw a couple of these just smaller ones up here. Eventually you'll be able to kind of just walk into them and they'll actually be, you know, grounded and not floating. But then there's going to be some more of those kind of, you know, built into the walls. The area has a little market area, so this is going to be the market area. So there'll be little, like, you know, stands and overhangs and stuff like that. Scale in here might get reworked a little bit. And then Sean and I had talked about potentially having it open up to the newbie yard. So right now I have this kind of really gigantic chunk that kind of collapsed. I need to put some more like rocks and stuff in this area to kind of really sell that collapse feel. But I also feel like I want to play with the shape a bit. I'm not super happy with it yet. So I'm sure I'll play around with it a little bit to kind of clean it up. But we've talked about this being more of a bug-filled area, but maybe a little bit of undead stuff closer to here. And then there's supposed to be an inn, which I'm currently designating this area for the inn. And then there's going to be a bunch more caves and stuff, probably linking stuff together. But right now, you know, here's a cave system going through here. Oh yeah, I forgot. I need to do that. Okay, that is better. Let's collapse these. So yeah, so you kind of, you know, walk into here, and then the area I'm working on, I want to do a kind of smaller back face to it, and then this is going to be a training yard, with some temples and stuff kind of along the ways. So it's a little, again, it's kind of prompted, but there's also a lot of freestyling, kind of just figuring out how I want stuff to flow. We don't have any like drawn out maps or anything like that. Or we haven't yet. Not saying that, you know, we're opposed to doing that. We just haven't specifically like pre-drawn out like a dungeon or anything like that. Wormsbane was done off of a write-up that Hamad had done. And then I took that and kind of turned it into Geo. Oh, on that topic, is there going to be ray tracing in this? Well, are you talking like ray trace rendering? I don't know if Unity supports that, honestly. That is not something I've dealt with in Unity before. I know Unreal does. I've done it in Unreal, but I do not believe we have any plans on using ray tracing like that style of ray tracing anyways. But like Ray's potential for like, you know, that's for like the camera collision. And potentially, I'm not exactly 100% sure, but the like sphere of influence is more than likely a sphere capture or a sphere ray capture of some kind. But that would be something you'd have to talk to Ali about, because again, that's not my field. Are you doing the 3D modeling for your stations? Are you talking about the crafting stations? Let me see it. Where did I put those? I put some rough models in a while ago. Did I put them in prefabs? I can't remember if I did. I believe I put them in prefabs. No. So that means they're probably in models still. Oh, hold on. Did they get moved? Where are they? Objects. Trade skill stations. Oh, no, those are the ones Elite made. Where are mine? Can you tell it's been a while since I've looked at these? uh, Objects. No. Props. Ah, crafting stations. Here we go. So I made a couple of crafting stations. So there's like an anvil, a bellows, a forge. Eventually it'd have a little mound of like coals and stuff that's not done yet. Kind of a grill top. So be hot coals. Grinding stone. A loom. Eventually these won't probably be as straight as they are once we have a texture for it. An oven, which the oven is actually in the inn currently. And then a spinning wheel. I think eventually this will also have a little kind of line of string around it. But yeah, so I got to those. The bellows is here. The bellows actually is animated too. And then yeah, the anvil is the only one I didn't open up. Let's see. The concept reminds me of the famous Mesa Palace, where the buildings are carved into the mountains. Yeah, we definitely wanted to lean into that kind of carved into. Again, we're looking more at Petra, but I know exactly the place that you're talking about. But yeah, we've been really kind of leaning into that kind of carved into sandstone tomb area for the necropolis, and then we're gonna have it spill out a little bit. So I kind of played around with it a little bit here when I made this one cave that kind of goes from the lower level to the upper level. And then there'll be some of it kind of spilled along the cavern walls a bit. And this was the temple, is one of the temples, like an old temple. And this was kind of the first one I did, and we really liked it, so I kind of moved one temple we had over here that was getting in the way of stuff. And did a similar take on it, but then I kind of made a little bit more of a, I don't know, like Greco-Roman style area on the sides of it. But yeah, sorry you were working on the railings and we got a full tour. It's good to know you have flexibility on those details. Oh, no problem at all. I tend to kind of fly around and show everybody everything. Yeah, if anybody has any questions or anything like that during my streams, feel free to ask. Don't worry about like derailing what I'm working on. I go into the streams just assuming that I'm going to be less productive than I normally am if I'm just kind of chilling here listening to music or have some TV show or a documentary or something going on my other screen. So do not worry about that. Trying to... It doesn't look too bad, actually. Alright, I'm gonna run around this real quick and see which side I'm liking scale-wise. It would be a good thing if I remembered where my character is sitting currently, but I don't. For all I know is inside some geo. Would not be the first time I've done that. I'm sorry, the background music stopped playing. I do not get why I keep spamming you guys with welcome to the chat room. Are you guys seeing that too, or is it just on my end? Nope. Okay, I'm not inside. Looks like I've got a cloak. It's on your end mostly, I think. Okay. That makes me feel better, because I'm like seeing it like every, I don't know, minute or so. It's just like, welcome to chat, welcome to chat. Scale-wise, this actually feels pretty good. Let's adjust. I forgot to adjust the lower floor to match that. Load the other scenes. So we have a new system set up where the geo isn't in the main Night Harbor scene anymore. It actually loads separate scenes. So we don't have any like merge conflicts or anything like that anymore, which is nice. So I would think I'm just gonna keep it that way. Okay, so let's continue this. I'm gonna just duplicate this so I make sure the size is the same. Could do little rooms off the side here, but I think this will be fine for now. Let's get these railings all in. Ah, oh, it helps if I'm in object mode. Like, why am I selecting all these other parts? Okay, so those, let's okay. So those. Just need to go. And in the guildhall. I'm hoping in the future you guys reveal a class that uses 2 shields. Just straight up, just uses shield bash. Trying to get stuff a little bit more, or keep stuff a little bit more organized. Since we have the other environment artist position open, and I won't be the only one having to deal with a super messy hierarchy, so trying to be a little bit more. Did I just hold on? What did I just move down here? This into Necropolis. That into there. That's just a ranger, dual wield. Where? I don't know if I've ever actually used a shield on my ranger, to be honest, now I'm really thinking about it. The weapon shield, or, you know, I guess 2 shields. Weapons, shields. Paladin with 2 tower shields and heavy armor, unstoppable. Take my money. The second I publish that on DM's Guild, gladly. If only he could move. Yeah, I mean, he definitely would have trouble moving, but he would be very sturdy, for sure, at the same time. Okay, let's... duplicate this. This is probably not going to work the way I want it to. Nope. There we go. Ooh. Oh, you know what? I know what it was. I changed the one side's little walkway up here to be slightly narrower, so I just have to fix that on this one. Oh, he wouldn't be fast. Very tanky. Very tanky. DM's Guild is a site for publishing homebrew content for D&D and other tabletops. Yeah, you can link it. That's fine. I don't remember if I have anything set that's gonna not let you link it, but if it gives me any prompt or anything like that, I'll let it go through. Star. I'm assuming it didn't let you link it. Hold on. It's probably some weird thing in my bot. Have you guys given thought to any scroll racks in the libraries? Yes. I'd started a while ago doing a test for how we wanted to handle the books on the shelves. I could find it in Google regardless. But that was right around the time that we got the rework for what Night Harbor was going to be, and kind of the initial like layout of the districts and stuff. There was a little bit of a map for it. It wasn't like a street by street map though. It was kind of just a general overview. If you go back and watch some of my older VODs, you'll see what the layout looked like at one point when we first started. Actually, we also have a couple sessions we did on Sean's stream, where there was like me, Sean, Goblin, and Hamad, and we were kind of discussing ideas for the city based off of the idea, or based off his initial sketch. But anyways, just before that, I had been working on kind of some tests for how we wanted to handle books and stuff. And I need to finish that eventually. But the idea is essentially, let's still save, having very small recesses for where shelves are going to be, as opposed to like pushing it all the way back. Because again, we're not trying to model everything. Let me see if I can bring up let's see. Siege Hearts, thank you for the follow. Also, thank you, Begad and Zahi. Welcome to the channel. Thank you. And I apologize for butchering names, but it's kind of a rite of passage when you hit the follow button that I butcher your name. report. So there's some in here. Where, though? Sorry, the camera speed in this viewer is ridiculously fast. But similar to how they did in the old classic one. Well, granted, this is just a painted on texture. But I don't think there's anything in the walls here. But we wanted to kind of go with this image-based idea. So slightly more detail because there'll be a, you know, this is kind of pushed in just a bit to catch some light. And then I started building a basically like a trim sheet full of different books. And then I wanted to do one with scrolls on it, like scrolls sideways, scrolls facing outwards. And essentially we just put those on planes and then take the planes and just kind of tuck them in here. And have them just in front of that plane so there's no Z fighting. And see how that looks. Or potentially just project them as decals as well if that doesn't work. We could try the decal route. But that was the idea, was to kind of try to go with the flatter EQ style. Although, here, let me open up Wormsbane. Actually, you know what? It'll be better if I just travel to Wormsbane. Because I can run around with a light. What are we up to? Today I've been kind of playing around in the Necro and SK kind of class area. Getting a library together. So we'll run around that, and then I'll real quickly hop over and look at the ossuary to kind of show you guys an example of another thing that we might try to do in places. Yeah, I think this is working out pretty well. I might do a little inset here with some, like, spooky candle lighting. Some spooky candle type things. On there. This is going to need some more... Oh, that's not centered at all. But anyways, that'll be in here. Maybe some more shelves. But this is starting to feel... how I wanted it to. I might do something with the roof, but we'll see. And then maybe some sort of lighting in each one of these little nooks. Or make a nook and then put something in there. Alright, so let's zone over to Wormsbane real quick. Wormsbane tune. I'm thinking of playing Spellblade or Inquisitor when it comes out. I am definitely going to make alts of both, for sure. I have a feeling I'll probably play the Spellblade more, but that's just because I like DPS. I'm not as big a fan of tanking. There's still some light issues here since I added more lighting. I broke everything, so apologies. It's also hitting my frame rate because there's too many lights on. Okay, so in here, you can see these are just skulls, literally, that we took. I, like, ripped the heads off of these dudes and just tucked them in here. And I'm going to do more variations on this. This was just a test. That looks very 3D. These are actually the same things, just kind of crushed. And it gives that kind of flat, and I just closed that EQ version, but it gives that kind of flat item look, but it also reacts really nicely with the light, because it does have a little bit of depth to it. So we might play around with doing stuff like that, as opposed to just doing pure flat images. Because that little test worked out pretty well. And it's not going to really kill performance, because it's not like we have a ton of polygons in these levels anyways. Or zones, I guess. But yeah. So let me zone back to Night Harbor. Zone Night Harbor. That's cool. That's probably what I do. And then could also attend some of those shelves to have some random items on there sometimes too. Oh yeah. So we'll probably end up making the idea will be, if that test works, we'll have a couple different like trim sheets that have different like arrangements of books, potentially, you know, scrolls or other items. We're also going to have that during like the marketplace, in the market stalls. So there'll be like, you know, like lamps and plates and stacks of rugs and stuff like that, done in a very similar manner. It is kind of what the idea is. So I'll have a bunch of those, and they'll just be, you know, put onto planes essentially, and then those planes will get tucked around and decorated, and it keeps that classic look. But like the one I was doing, I modeled some books and baked them onto planes. So there is a normal map, so it does have some lighting to it, some lighting depth to it. I just need to finish painting the texture. But yeah, so we do that with all sorts of different types of objects and things like that. Can stagger a few along the strip as well for variation depth-wise. Yep, exactly. Love the deep gnome or the deep dwarf art. Yeah, I do too. The deep dwarves are definitely going to be a fun challenge once we get around to making them, because I'm sure that they're going to be the one that's going to throw a wrench in all of the systems. Oh, I keep forgetting to fix that scene. The systems we have, so that I'm sure they'll have to get a little creative on how we want to handle the armor with them. I'm gonna make alts of all the classes. I probably am going to too, Keith. I don't know if I'll get them all to max level, without like cheating. Like on the live server, obviously I won't be doing that, but like, I don't know if I'll have enough time to level all of them up. But I definitely will have a max ranger and then max shaman. That's my goal. And then probably some deep gnome caster. But yeah, I'm really excited to do the deep dwarf area when we eventually get there, and also the dwarf area. I think they're going to be a lot of fun. Especially like watching Rings of Power, like Kaza Doom. Just like the couple shots you get every so often, I'm always like, oh, it's gonna be so much fun to do something, you know, similar in terms of like bridges and mines and stuff like that. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Oh, this is gonna be my game. That level design is, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Yeah, the map design is lovely, feels organic. Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Are you painting on Substance Painter, or Mary, or Photoshop? So what I've been using is a combination of Photoshop and Substance. The books I was painting directly in Substance. I haven't done any of these larger textures. Like these ones were done by a studio we've talked to about outsourcing when we're getting ready to scale. And then this one was done by a freelance illustrator that Sean knows. And I did make this kind of loam one that has a bunch of different vertex colors, coloring different areas. Goblin will probably do a lot of the larger textures. Things for like weapons and stuff like that I can do pretty easily. And I've done a couple of those so far. And then, what is that? Huh. So yeah. But, for me, Photoshop, if I'm editing, like when I'm Marie or... Oh, that's also... I need to fix that. I'll use Photoshop to like edit other artists' textures and make more textures from their textures, or substance directly on models. So yeah, this is kind of like the entrance way. I figured maybe a obelisk of some kind could be kind of cool there. That's not part of the lore. I just kind of threw it there, so that might stay. It might go. And then I had been working on this last stream, but it looked completely different. So this is the morgue area. There'll be bodies on the tables. Although I need to actually like figure out what the tables are going to look like, and probably have them a little bit lower, because that'd be rather high to work on a body when it's up at your chest. But I'm thinking kind of bringing these archways up here, and then potentially have some of those as doorways, similar to how this one's a little doorway. And have some smaller rooms off to the side. Oh, Goblin Works. They're the one that introduced me to the game yesterday on another stream. Oh, awesome! Yeah, yeah. Goblin is our concept artist and texture artist, and he does a little. Actually, he's mainly our concept artist, but he's also kind of a generalist because he does animations sometimes. He does some model tweaks. He's also modeled some of the creatures. Like he modeled the crocodile, which is currently getting an animation pass. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this library. And then I need to do an Alchemy Lab, but I'm not sure what I want to do for the Alchemy Lab. I think I'm just going to put it off of this. Like, there'll be a turn here, and we'll just go into it. So let's kind of play around with at least blocking in a space. I haven't really decided, again, what I want to do with that space, though. So, Night Harbor. Oops, these need to get added to that geo. So you guys can see when I load in, if something hasn't been added to the geo scene, it kind of is floating here in the level. And then we have the geo and the sound loading from two different scenes. You just hit load, and it streams everything in. But it helps prevent any weird merge conflicts. We had a couple. There was one that I think I ended up blowing up Night Harbor because I had a merge conflict with one of Robert's. Updates. Where? I keep forgetting where. Oh, there it is. Where the ocean goes. Okay, so let's fix a couple of those issues. So this. This. Need to go into. all these tables would come in here as well. Alright, so let's put that there. And start making the doorway. Oh, actually, you know what? I apologize. I just remembered there were some other things I wanted to check on. That does not need to be there. Should have done those without sides, but whatever. And we will snap that. Like so. And then this space right here is no longer needed, so get rid of those. And then there's that seam back here that I have pointed out like 3 or 4 times on stream, and I constantly keep forgetting to fix it. So let's actually fix it. There we go. And save. Do you plan to have more items in cities, dungeons, than EverQuest? Similar to the classic EverQuest. So we're going for a lot of negative space, but again, I mean, if I open up the zone viewer here again, and again, let's just hop back into Freeport. There's actually a decent amount of like items, like set dressing type stuff. If I go into one of these buildings, you know, there's cups and stuff like that on the tables. So there's actually a more probably going on model wise than I actually like remembered in my head. But there's still, you know, it's not a ton. It's not like there's an entire like plate out with silverware and stuff like that. And it's not a huge array of different things. So we're trying to keep a similar tone in terms of the negative space that is in the environment itself and the density. Oh, sorry, I thought YouTube was messing up again. And yeah, the density of the mob, or the mobs, the density of the set dressings and stuff like that. I've never map designed, but I love the gray box of buildings in this game now. It's a lot of fun. It can take, I mean, it takes time, and it's a lot of, you know, being willing to iterate. So you start building something, you see how it feels, okay, take it to the next step. Oh, you know, maybe it changes. I mean, Wormsbane I've updated like 3 times already. And we haven't had, you know, we haven't had a testing week where you guys have all been running around in there. And we've been getting, you know, feedback that we're not able to get just testing with the team. You know, with more populations and stuff like that. So I'm sure there's going to be even more more tweaks and stuff like that down the road once we start getting some more feedback. I don't have a ton of room here. So I got to deal with the morgue and the library. So maybe... Four, and then another 4, so it's 8. Small. I don't know if this really needs a whole lot going on in it. I might just for now leave it as a room, because I need to know what the crafting stations are going to look like before I can really start doing a ton in here. Maybe I'll just move one of the shelves in here for now. Nope, that's not what I want. Oops. And then let's move these over here for now. Kind of placeholders for what could be alchemy stations. This is one I think that, like, to actually get a good feeling of, like, hey, this is an alchemy lab, I need to actually have, like, set, like, actual prop models. Some, like, you know, potion bottles on the shelf, or, you know, whatever the alchemy, like, looks like. So is it, you know, some, like, beakers with a little flame and stuff bubbling over, like that type of thing, or like a mortar and pestle, maybe some herbs or something hanging from the walls. I don't think it needs much structurally. It just needs props and stuff to really kind of sell it. Let's see. Oops, that was not what I wanted to open. Alright, so this is going to take a second. I'm loading all of the NPCs from the database. So Night Harbor is windy and hot at the same time? Yes. Goblin, when he was designing some of the city, had a lot of sails and kind of masts and stuff, which I can't move because it's loading. I started playing around with some of that in a small test area, but he was thinking maybe having like these symbols and stuff on them, and it kind of helps direct air around to help cool off the city. But it's still hot. It's still very hot. So yeah, I was kind of playing with the masts and stuff like that. So there'll be a lot more of these structures, especially over in the Bends, which is kind of like a shady encounter area. So it's like kind of like the slums and the Fisherman's Wharf area. Eventually, I think what's going to end up happening is it's going to be kind of carved in, so it'll get like wider, and then it'll get more narrow, and then it'll get wider again. So there might be like a little bit more of like a harbory dock area over here. And then there'll be some flat plazas and stuff like that. But this is going to be more of a, again, like an encounter space as opposed to a city space. There's also some other ideas that were brewing that I'm not sure are going to be a thing or not. But there could be potentially more faction-based stuff going on in the city at some point. Let me see. Are any of these alchemy guys? This is Shadow Knight. Shadow Knight. I'm gonna put this guy in the library. I don't know if this is correct, but I feel like he could be in the library. Save. Sean and Nick can always make adjustments if they don't like where I put these things. Necro Regents and Necro Spells. Oh, thanks for the subscription, Lung. Appreciate it. It was very nice of you. Alright, so this is Necro Spells. Put him staring at the bookshelves. Get a very plane of knowledge vibe. Necro Regents. So we got here, got Shadow Knight Spell Merchant, Shadow Knight GM, alright, this one I know goes down here. I think this character is going to go in one of the rooms I have yet to build. Actually, no, maybe we can do that. I can do that next. Let's save that there. I'm going to put the Shadow Knight in the barracks area, but I don't know if that's correct. Regardless, it'll look better than them standing around outside. Shadow Knight GM. Oops, keep forgetting that. I need to do this to make them face the right direction. Position, save. Gotcha. There's a city in Iran that uses air conditioning in the form of wind catchers. The ancient Egyptians had a form where they hanged wet mats over the doors. Lots of cool little details. Yeah, Ali and Hamad live in Bahrain, so they've been kind of, they've been wanting us to bring in things like cooling towers and, some buildings that, are very courtyard based. Although I need to fix this one still. Did Sean get around to do it? No, I don't think he added them yet. But they've been kind of giving some suggestions as I've been building out spaces, so we definitely want to bring in some of that type of stuff. Hold on, there's 2 Necro GMs? Or, not Necro, SK GMs? Brazic. I guess there are. I don't know. I'm just going to put them both in the barracks area for now. And I suppose now that we're in here and kind of throwing some stuff around, so let's just find beds. Make this look more like a... did I make... no, I did not. Eventually I need to make an actual some like Foot Locker style chests, but for now this will work as a placeholder. Let's see. Oh yeah, let's put a little bit of details. Progress looks good. Thanks. Definitely appreciate it. We're making progress, slow and steady, but definitely progress is being made. Oh, come on. I guess I could just use the hierarchy to select this stuff. It'd probably be way easier. Sometimes I really wish this shared the same whatchamacallit as like Unreal control system, I guess is the word I'm looking for. center that. Getting up, that way. Alright. Position and save. Okay, so let's get these. And slide it over into the other one, and then we have to move the walls because I didn't have the walls at the same side. Okay, well. Those and on this way. Cool. So it's at least understandable now that this is the bunk or the barracks. Again, a lot of this stuff will get probably more set dressing. Not probably, will get more set dressing. At some point, but bed. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, the air catchers, they still use those to this day. Seen them online. Yeah, definitely. It's pretty crazy how just like, you know, different parts of the world use like different technologies still. But I mean, if it works, that's awesome. Stick with it. I always love going around and like learning about how other areas work, like, you know, function and or have functional like dwellings and stuff to that fits that specific environment. I read up a bit on them, really interesting on how at night the inverse happens too, because the difference in air density between the hot and cold bunk beds. I call top bunk. You can have it. I hate heights. I am not a huge fan of heights, but actually I liked having the top bunk. Although I take that back. In college I did take the lower bunk. I can't remember my reasoning, but that's like I am taking the lower bunk. I've got the weirdest. I've talked about it before on stream. I've got the weirdest like fear of heights. But I don't remember where that guy is. I remember that name, but I don't remember where he is. And so those ones, these guys are just gonna stay outside because I don't know where they go, and I am not about to open up the lore and spill the beans on stream. Alright, so we got that. Let's try carrying this stuff over. So close to having the room like perfectly scaled, but no. That's good. It's just probably gonna be easier to get this way. Like less stuff to worry about. Highlighting. It's easier to do it this way. Those. Oh, my bitrate is... I don't know if you guys can still even see me right now. My bitrate is going really bad. I don't know why. But yeah, my bitrate is super slow, so I apologize if my stream is getting really choppy. I think that's probably why my whatchamacallit keeps saying welcome to chat, welcome to chat, welcome to chat, is because I'm having some sort of internet issue tonight, and I do not know why. When I was younger, I made... Oh, hold on a second. Yeah, when I was younger, Why is this one stupid? There we go. Okay. Third time's a charm. When I was younger, I had a bunk bed in the living room, and one day the ladder fell off and broke the glass coffee table. Ooh! I broke a glass kitchen table when I was like, I don't know, like 3 or 4, probably. At my aunt and uncle's house. Me and my cousins were playing with Play-Doh, and I think I did it. I think I was pushing down on the Play-Doh to like smush it out, and the whole table just went like all over our laps. I remember my mom and my aunt like frantically trying to clean it all up before we all got injured. But miraculously, I don't think any of us got cut. I'd have to ask my mom, but I don't think anybody did. I just remember it being a lot of glass, and I was totally expecting to get yelled at, and I don't think I did, actually. If I did, I don't remember getting yelled at. But I can relate to a broken table and how much glass that has, or it throws everywhere. I always made my little brother take the top bunk, but he was scared sometimes, so I let him stay on the lower one with me. Yeah, when me and my brother were younger, which I don't think he's in chat. He usually says something if he's in chat. But anyways, I ended up getting the top because my parents were worried that he'd fall out, because he'd fall out of bed all the time. And the way our bunk bed was like, if I hold up my phone here, the ladder was permanently attached like in the middle, and somehow he would still like end up on the floor in the morning. Like, I don't know how he would like wrap himself around it, but I was giving the top because they were afraid he would injure himself, and he probably would have. Oops. Oh, come on. There we go. I think I want to do something where probably won't end up settling on something tonight, but I kind of want to do something where like these, I don't know if they go straight now. I don't like that. Maybe something like that, just so they have like a little bit of a different feel, but I'll have to figure that out, play around with some stuff. But I do want some of these to have rooms, maybe like every other. Yeah, that works. Nice. Maybe not that far. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops. 8. And let's reset the UVs on these because these are really jacked up UVs. Whoa, that was not the right button. That was the right button. Let's see. Love the alcoves. Awesome. Are you going to save any of these as prefab meshes so they can be used for kit bashing stuff later? So I've been doing that a lot actually. Like if I need something, I'll just like fly over, grab it, duplicate it, and move it. They're not in prefabs currently, only because they're not. They're still pro builder meshes. Eventually, what we want to do is export out all the sections, bring them into Maya, or Blender or whoever's doing it, depending on what software they use, and then export it out, and also potentially clean up like weird seams like this that pro builders just not really great at. Like their UV tools aren't the greatest. They're really good for getting you real quick flat, like if I wanted to just take these, grab all that, and then group them, that works great. But like around edges and bends and stuff, it doesn't do such a great job. So some of that will be exported out. But these are all, you know, pretty easy to just kind of duplicate and move stuff around. The prefabs would probably be better just because like when you update it, it updates it for everything, but let's see, are you going to save and oh, I just read that. So basically two siblings who are scared of the top bunk. Hey, quit bullying me. Don't call Eminem minds on me. What's going on in the chat? Just realized the acronym is Eminem. The Play-Doh saved your hands. That's for sure. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. But it was during the summer when that actually happened. So I vaguely remember we were all wearing shorts. And nobody's legs were mutilated. Which is surprisingly good luck, I guess. Considering. Okay, so let's oops. Builders selections really drive me crazy. What is going on here? Let's just merge those two together. Oops. Nope. Nope. There we go. Really good at like trying to do a small selection and selecting the previous selection at the same time. And honestly, hold on, I don't even know why I'm saving these, because these are going to get deleted. And this floor is going to get deleted in here. Let's grab all those spaces and these spaces, and detach them and duplicate. Oops, if that's the wrong one. We'll leave it like that for now. If I need to get more accurate with that floor, I can easily do that, but I'm just going to leave it like that for now. And we'll move her into one of these rooms. Although, I can't actually see her here until I build. I'm not going to be able to build geo on, or not geo, nav meshes on our streams anymore, unless you guys want to sit around for like a long time and watch a progress bar not move for the first like 5 minutes of it, because we went back to using the classic navigation, which I've done on streams before, and I'm like, why isn't this working? It was working, it's just really, really slow now. Like, way, way more slow than it was previously. But yeah, so I'll do that. I'll build it after. This stream's over. So you guys are sitting here watching a really, really fun progress bar. No, I don't want to do it like that. Let's put this over. I still do not know why my bitrate is so low. I do apologize if it's really messing with the stream. Oops, wrong position and save. Let's see. What's the POK that people keep mentioning in Discord? Yeah, Plane of Knowledge. It was introduced in Planes of Power, expansion for EQ. It was a hub you could access from the major cities via teleporting. It ended up reducing the need for teleportation among the population. Yeah, it definitely made the world feel a lot smaller. And it had a lot of like this. It had a lot of spell vendors and stuff like that. So some of the spells that were harder to find before, you could just go and purchase them pretty easily at at the library where the spell vendors all were. Cool. Room still needs some work, but I'm liking where it's going. But yeah, so it definitely shrunk the world, because it wasn't like in Luklin or Lucklin with the Nexus, because the Nexus you still had to wait like, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes to jump there, and it only had one stone per continent. Where POK was, there was a POK book at every city. So it made getting around a lot easier, but it also shrunk the world a lot, and then made stuff easier to get. And then off of that, there was another hub zone that was specifically for the expansions, the zones that came with that expansion. So you had Plane of Tranquility, and then you had all these other planes that you could access off of that zone. Never played EQ. Oldest MMO you tried was RS2 in the early 2000s. I would hate that. I miss walking around towns in MMOs and seeing random people. Yeah, it definitely shrunk the world and made a lot of the newbie, or a lot of the zones less frequented. I started playing EQ just like a couple months before Planes of Power launched. So I got to experience it before and after. But I think I started around a decent point where I had got enough of the feeling of what it was like before it launched. Oh, my bitrate's back up. I do not know what is going on with my internet connection today. One of my kids is probably like downloading something while I'm trying to stream. It's probably what's going on. All right. So that's looking pretty good. So again, I need to kind of play around with this space more. I want to do some more elevation changes and stuff like that. Potentially some smaller buildings. And then start getting into some more of these other like areas that I want structures to be, and then need to figure out what the back of this building is, and then have a kind of room that hooks up to this. So want to see how all that turns out, but I'm gonna run around in this stuff real quickly again before I end up closing up the stream for tonight. So ready for work tomorrow. Get my last couple things together for my demo. All right. Let's hop back into the game. Yeah, Deep Dwarf place is going to be fun to build.